Obviously 20 of 20, last game of the year. Coming off a very tough and emotional senior night. A lot of seniors. It's a good night, but it's a tough night. It's a night that I never really enjoy. Obviously, the outcome of the game wasn't what we wanted. Didn't think we played particularly well. And watching the film, give Purdue credit. Obviously, Zach is very good, but didn't make enough plays. Didn't make winning plays. We've talked a lot about those. We've showed a lot of those. Got the game tied with 2 minutes to go, and you're at home. You need to win those games, but we didn't. So we'll learn from it. Take on an Iowa team. It's Illinois, Iowa. It's always a heck of a battle. The game here was all of that. Again, a game that I didn't think we played very well. But be a sellout crowd over there, and their perimeter guys are extremely good. Dick's hurt us in the first game. Sanford's coming off a triple-double. And then Perkins has turned into, another one of the great guards that we face in this league, night in and night out. So, they play fast, high scoring, they'll mix up their defenses, and typical Iowa team, and we're gonna have to play well.
It seemed like your defensive intensity was really good early against Purdue. Is that something where you try to get that to be the standard? It seemed like it was heightened.
It's a shame when playing hard is not the everyday norm. It's a learned skill, and a lot of distractions with senior day. That's why it's my least favorite day of the year. You get too many things going on, and then let alone to have it against the best team in the country. So, but yeah, we did. We played really hard. We guarded. It wasn't the defensive end that was the problem. If you'd have told me before the game that we're going to hold Purdue to 77, I said we're winning. And yet it was, a night that Terrence wasn't very good. Give them credit. At night we didn't get out in transition, but we did guard him, and held Zach to 8 rebounds. He took 23 shots to score his points, and yet it was still a defensive rebound, a loose ball, activity, playing hard, stuff we've got to sustain. But give them credit, and we've got to do that for 40.
What have you seen in response to that messaging over the last couple of days?
Good practices. We had a kind of a different practice a couple of days ago. All we did was work on situations, late games for 2 hours. It's nice to have one of those. We didn't spend a second on Iowa. And then yesterday was a good, hard-nosed, tough practice, and we've got some opportunities to have some of those before we head into postseason play. But yeah, we've got to compete. We've got to get guys competing on the glass. Guys, not thinking and just playing. And playing hard, and if they make a mistake, they make a mistake. But just the passion of playing hard. And I write a saying on the board before every game: know the thrill of an all-out effort. I'm not sure we've been living up to that, and we got to do that. And if we want to, we get great athletes who can go play hard and dive on the floor for loose balls and grab rebounds, and we didn't do that against Purdue. And again, it's got to be an unbridled, passionate, play hard, and we did that in practice yesterday. So we'll see if that continues.
In your experience this time of year, when a team like Iowa is on the bubble, has a ton to play for, you have to match that intensity, I would assume. Like, how have you gone about that in the past when, not saying you guys don't have anything to play for, but like your seed's locked and,
Yeah, I mean, I still go back to this. It's an opportunity to put the uniform on and play a game. And whatever the distractions or whatever the significance, whatever the importance, for us, it's trying to go out and compete. We're putting on the Illinois jersey to go compete and win. And the consequences for them, sure, they're they're on the bubble and they're playing well, and we just saw them 10 days ago. So playing their senior day in front of their home fans. So there's a lot of factors involved in that. But for us, it's just go compete and win. And we can't forget we're still trying to bump a seed line and keep playing as well as we can play as we move forward.
There's an older team that you want to just open up those conversations about seed lines, or do you let them kind of explore that possibility on their own?
They know where we're at, but we do talk about it. And I think that we start in the fall. With this group, we talked about it a lot. The importance of a bad loss, the importance of margins of victory, the importance of playing your best in games you should win for 40 minutes, and knowing that there's going to be ups and downs in a 20-game league schedule in a league that's as good as the Big Ten. So you've got to got to talk about those things. We don't shy away from them, and this group has to understand the abruptness of the end. There's a lot of veterans out here that may never play basketball again.
I guess you kind of mentioned how Illinois, Iowa has been pretty good in the game over the last 7 years. So what do you feel like has made it that in your time? Just
really, really, really good players. I think you start. I think both Fran and I are really, really competitive. I've got so much respect for the job that he's done developing players. It was a time when, Luka was an All-American, Kofi and Io were All-Americans. They developed the twins to become All-Americans. We've got guys that are, in that same category. We're fighting for league championships. We're fighting for seedings. It's close. It's a passionate fan base. And it's just one of those that's had every intangible line up for a good rivalry. And it was that before, but I think it's been amped up pretty good because we've both been pretty good and had great players on the court.
But in the last couple of conversations with Coleman, he's kind of mentioned his knee. I'm just curious if there's any change of management with that later in the season, or if that's just a treatment.
He's got to practice, he's got to recover, he's got to rehab, he's got all spring to figure out how to get that thing, how to get that right. It's it's part of going through a 30-game season and just the everyday aggregate. He was great yesterday in practice, and it's a maintenance issue for Coleman. It has been all year, I think he's in a pretty good spot.
Going in this year, you have options with lineups. As you look at late game stuff, how are you evaluating? Maybe is it who has it going tonight? What is the game call for? Or just when you evaluate who you want on the court late, what are you looking at?
Yeah, there's a lot of offensive, defensive situations that occur that you don't know. I think we like to look at our defensive side, see, okay, we need this, we need that. It's a matchup based on who they might have hot. I think it's free throw shooting. I think it's ability to pass and inbounds basketball. I think it's get a rebound on a free throw. There's a lot of factors go into that situation. So, just making sure that, you understand what we're trying to do. If we don't have a timeout, if we have a timeout, what we want to, all those things play into the thinking man's game, that part of it. So, having a day where we could just touch on a lot of those things was really good. And then, telling guys that, you never know when you're going to be called on to, need a three, and we got to put 5 3-point shooters out there, and you haven't played, but knowing the play. All those things play into late game situations.
You talk about the sense of urgency of seniors. Is it different in the transfer portal world, where some seniors have played 30 games instead of the 120 of old seniors?
No, I think when you get to this point, I think it's winning. I think this group of guys came here because they wanted to be in the NCAA tournament. They wanted the opportunity to play on that stage. Quincy's the only one that's done that. And that was a trip to Syracuse a long time ago. So, I think I think there's urgency there. I think there's understanding there. And, my point being after the Purdue game, it's one possession. It's every game's going to be like that. And we didn't get a defensive rebound. we made a great stop. We got a defensive rebound. The Jones kid made a bad play and on their part, and we deflect a pass and we don't come up with it. Those 2 plays send you home, and that's the urgency that this group has to understand, and that's why we got to find ways to win those games.
This is technically the last year of the 3-year deal to keep the state tournament at State Farm Center. It should be renewed, I think that's the likelihood. But how important is it maybe for the state tournament to stay across the street?
To me, it just makes so much sense, and I'm not knocking any, Peoria where it was before or any other place who might want it. To me, it's scholastic events being on the campus of the University of Illinois, the biggest campus we have in the state. It just makes sense. I think it's an honor to play here in that building for high school kids. I think it's something to look forward to. I think it's a great destination to be excited about getting to every year. I think it's fun to, for kids to have the opportunity to pull in the tunnel and see what they see on TV all the time and know that it's big. I think it's great for our community. I think the attendance has been outstanding. In the years we've had it here. So I haven't had long conversations with the IHSA, but I hope they're as pleased as we are to have it, and hopefully it stays here for many years to come.
How have you seen Coleman kind of mature, maybe in the last couple of weeks even, but through his time here and him understanding, I don't know, life in a sense? Like, it just seems like he's
there's every day we all go through it, life lessons, and sometimes there's, you have to deal with consequences, and sometimes you have to deal with positive moments, and how do you handle success, and part of being an athlete is those change week to week and can change day to day. And in a very competitive, emotional world, which is sports, you create so many emotions, and being able to handle those emotions, being able to think before you speak, being able to understand the essence of what consequences are for things you say, all those things, that's part of growing up, and we've all been there, we've all done that, we've all had things that make us better. Coleman's basketball journey has been probably the epitome of what it should be for a college student athlete, just the growth and the development on and off. And once you leave here, there's a lot of bills to pay, there's a lot of responsibility coming your way, there's a new job. I think one of the things that we talk to our guys about, they've been chased since they were 12. People chase them all the time, and have always told them how good they are. But the truly great ones do the chasing. And there's no more chasing once your college eligibility is done. And getting guys to understand that and go through that process, that nobody's telling you they need you on this AAU team, or they need you on this high school, or they're giving you this, or giving you a pair of shoes. Now it's real life. And so I think Coleman's development has just been one I would like more people to have to go through. It's what they should have to go through. It's what young boys go through when they become a man. And it's not all participation awards and easy. It's really hard, and it's challenging, and he's handled so much adversity and so much negativity and so much winning and so much failure. It's just the gamut of what life is, and he'll be better for all of that after leaving here.
It's just one more about the playing part of it. We talked about it a lot in the last couple of times. Like, do you feel like that's something that's like an issue that's cropped up more of late, or is that like kind of a lingering thing throughout the season?
Well, I think guys try to play hard. I think they let thinking get in the way, and I think they let distractions get in the way. And I think it's harder. I think it's a learned skill. I think it's easy to go out and think you're playing hard, and you're truly not. And we want guys to be in the moment. We want guys to live and be as successful as they can possibly be in whatever that moment is. And we've got really good athletes who are capable of just being dominant with their effort, and that's why we didn't get a loose ball. That's why we didn't get a defensive rebound. And it's an effort and a play hard thing, and we've just got to turn it loose. We've got to find that full on out, dive on the floor, win every possession, play hard mentality, and it's my job to get it out of them.
Can I ask you one sidebar about Tyler? With his expanded role this year, how much was he responsible for the portal success, and how has his game day role changed? I still kind of see him and say, "There's Brad's kid." Do you see a top offensive mind when you see him on the bench?
Yeah, I don't see him as my son during the game, and I mean that in all seriousness. And I mean it's he's made decisions I didn't like very well, or made a call that I didn't like very well. I think offensively he's brilliant. I think he's really good. I think he's really creative. I think he's got an understanding of what fits players and what I like and don't, and I've learned very quickly to trust that. I think his understanding of what the pieces look like may put him way ahead of a lot of people in this profession, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious here about that, but he understands how to put a team together. And I think when he was in charge of the portal, and obviously there's a lot of assistant coaches that had big issues in that, but he knew what we were trying to do. And it's not just accumulating talent; it's putting the right pieces together and the pieces that fit us. And I'm happy for him, because on the offensive side he's been not afraid, as maybe a lot of sons would be, and not afraid to come in and say, "Hey, I don't like this. What do you think? Let's change this." And I challenge my staff all the time to be creative and challenge me with new ideas, and he does that. And to his credit and to our credit, we've got the third or fourth best offense in the country, and most of his ideas have worked.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.